Hello, and welcome to the 101st episode of the Not Your Mama's Gamer podcast, a podcast where we talk about games and gaming from a feminist perspective. My name is Samantha Blackman, and I'm an associate professor here at Purdue University in wonderful West Lafayette, Indiana, where I talk about, read about, write about, dream about, think about, amongst other things, video games. And let me say, it's kind of anticlimactic to say the 101st episode. It's like starting all over again.
That's not anticlimactic, that's beautiful.
But it's also a special day.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Because tomorrow is Sam's birthday!
And so we're singing. Ready?
Oh my God.
Happy birthday to you.
Oh, we're all terrible.
Happy birthday to
you.
Yeah, that's horrible.
Happy birthday, Sam.
Okay.
Sam, yay.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Sam.
I think
Hug
we're
your
all,
vagina.
lagging a little bit. We're just all really out of tune. And
Oh my God.
Oh shit, that was terrible. Let's never do that again.
Yeah, let's
I told you I was
never.
going to say it.
Let's never. All right. I am joined tonight
By a bunch of
by a bunch of
singers.
idiots.
um
I am
I'm
joined
offended.
tonight by a wonderful bevy of brilliant women who are going to introduce themselves, and we are going to start with you, Alex Lane, since you're first on my screen.
Well, I'm first in your heart, too. So that
Yes.
My name is Alex Lane. I am an assistant professor at Metropolitan State University in St. Paul. I study video games and feminism, and my career is shortly going to be destroyed, as threatened by men's rights activists today. So,
we don't know.
I mean, a prominent feminist.
Someone on the internet.
Someone on the internet.
So
That's too bad, Al.
Next time I'll be introducing myself as the formerly employed Alex Lane.
Yeah. Sorry, Alex.
It's okay.
Well, you could have saved me like 5 years of having to, get you through a PhD program. If
Right?
that's all
What
you
pain
really
in
do.
your
It's like,
ass?
I used to be
Jeez.
very respectable until I met you, Samantha. So we each could have saved each other some problems. Eh?
I'm
I
not
don't-
taking
I don't
the
buy
place
it.
for that.
I
No.
don't buy it.
Alicia?
Oh, I'm Alicia Carabinas.
Mhm.
I'm doing a PhD in rhetoric and composition, where I'll be studying games and other things this fall at Purdue University, where I'm currently a lecturer. And Sam owns me, body and soul.
That don't sound good.
No, that's right.
Look, it's just the truth, okay?
Body, soul, and future.
Yeah, no shit.
All right. Ashley.
Hi. So I'm Ashley Berry. I'm a contributing writer for Not Your Mama's Gamer, and I also work in publishing in the Boston area. And I keep muting myself because I'm eating a mason jar full of dried Cheerios. I know, really good, and I can't stop eating it.
I have bourbon in a mason jar. We can be mason jar twins, but
We
mine's
can.
better.
Oh, come on.
But one of you is channeling a drunk and the other is channeling a 2-year-old.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Alicia and I are two sides of the same coin.
Mm-hmm.
Or we could be a drunken 2-year-old.
Yes.
That's true.
Let our powers combine.
And Charlotte.
Charlotte, write this ship, please, because everything's already off the fucking rails.
I can't help you with that. Let's see. I'm Charlotte Hyde. I'm a doctoral candidate at Purdue University. I'm the resident Lego scholar. I don't know what else to tell you.
You're on hiatus right now from the site, and we already miss you.
You know what? It's funny because I actually already miss it. It sucks. So
Aw.
probably I won't be on hiatus for the full 100%. It probably won't happen. So.
Yay!
You miss us. You miss
I
us.
do. I do. But I do start the Maymester, so yikes.
All right. So let's get started because we got fun stuff to talk about tonight. We'll start with our usual, what you playing, what you reading, what you drinking. Because those are important questions. And we'll start with you, Alex Lane. What you playing?
I played a lot of different stuff this week, last 2 weeks. I played Neverwinter on the PC and the Xbone. They are not linked. So
Told you.
all of the not money I spent on the Xbox One version
Sorry.
does not translate to my PC version. So that sucks. And also, no one plays Neverwinter with me. You guys gotta play. I played Rayman Legends, some couch co-op. It's one of the best co-op games I've played. It's really fun.
It's one of the best games ever.
I played. I took a page out of Sam's book, and at the graduation ceremony, I brought my 3DS and played Paper Sticker Mario. That was fun. I played a lot of Sims 4. They came out with a new expansion for it. Did you guys see that? It's $40.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So I went on with the idea to buy it so I could talk about it this week, and I was like, and so I read, after I saw it was $40, I read the little write-up of it, and it doesn't sound like there's that much stuff. Like, it's a work one, so it's like more work-related stuff, and it's like, work sucks. I don't want more stuff to do at work and pay $40 for it, so I didn't get it, so whatever, but it's still fun. Don't Starve Together. And then I actually didn't get to the Lego Batman 3 demo because I was doing this instead. And then Shiftlings. Has anybody played that?
No, I saw it.
It's cute. It's really cute. There's 2 characters, and you can control both of them by switching back and forth if you're playing by yourself, or it's made for co-op. And your character at the beginning drinks this, like, the busiest drink in the universe, and then farts up his suit. So he blows up, like you're both normal size, but one of you gets really big, and you're connected to another shiftling with an oxygen tube, and you can make who's fat go back and forth between the characters. So you have to navigate. You guys are connected by this tube, and if it gets cut, you both go off into the space and die. So you have to navigate who has the air in them. Yeah, it's kind of cute. It's kind of gimmicky. And it's really easy, really easy. So probably a good game for kids. And it's also really interesting, the fat comments they make in it, because the guy, the narrator, who's really annoying, is constantly calling you fat. So,
well, that would make it not a good game for kids.
Yeah.
Well, you can talk about it though. I like to do things like that sometimes with my son, just to discuss.
Yeah, that's a good idea, and I think most parents would see that and be like, "Oh, it's perfect," and would think that the comments are funny, you can't fit through that tubbo, because you're not fat, you're just blown up with air. But that would be a good thing to talk about.
Yeah.
So, and then the other game I played is Home Is Where You Start, which was my indie game of the week, which I'll talk about at a later date. So there.
Alrighty.
Yay.
Thanks, Ashley.
I have been playing a couple of games. I've been playing Don't Starve Together because now I'm obsessed.
We need to play together. You need to tell me what you're playing.
I know. I usually play when I get home from work. I'll play for an hour and a half with Sam, the boyfriend Sam, not Sam the Sam.
Well, send me a message next time you play.
I will. And I've also been playing this little indie game called Hotel Remorse. There's not many video games that are set in hotels anymore, or really, I can't think of many that are. That's a really common thing in horror, movies and whatnot, but not really so much in video games. Not that I can think of.
Did you ever play Hotel Dusk?
No.
Five Nights at, or no, not Five Nights.
No, it's set in a Chuck E. Cheese kind of place, but anyway. It's kind of cool. And then I played this other indie game called Over the Hills and Far Away, which is a text-based game. And yeah, I'm still trudging through Majora's Mask. I'll finish it one day. One of these days, it's gonna happen. And I've been playing this game, Lifeline, which was featured on Offworld, I think. It's a text-based game on the iPhone, and I think it's written by somebody from Telltale. So it's really interesting. You have to guide. Basically, all the action happens off screen. So basically, you're texting an astronaut back and forth, and he's like, "Oh man, I have to go do this thing. What should I do? Should I go left or right?" And you have to be you have to decide for him, left or right. So I've already killed him 3 times. I've had to go back I'm not very good at keeping people alive in games, so
I meant to get that. I'm going to get it right now because you're talking about it.
yeah, it's good. I think it's only like $3 on
It's
the
$2.99. I'm in the App
$2.99.
Store right now.
Yeah, but it's good. I like it. It has some really cool. I like the little background music. It's kind of neat. So
The price point is one of the best reasons to buy indie games. Like, I will buy
yeah,
indie games every other day, even if they're short,
yeah,
because you support development, you get to have a cool experience, something out of the, off the shelf or whatever variety, and
Yeah.
it's cheap. Who cares?
yep.
Is it
Yep.
only on iOS? Yeah, it looks like it.
Yeah.
So I'll have to play it on my iPad.
I totally just reached for my phone. My phone isn't in this room right now. I just assume it's always next to me within my
I would
reach.
have a fucking heart attack if my phone wasn't next to me. A freaking heart attack.
It's in my purse somewhere. Oh well.
All right. Then I guess it's my turn. As I kind of wrote about on the site this week, I am playing Terraria. I'm playing a lot of Terraria right now. I started playing it on the 360 because it was free with, well, I guess not free, but free with Games for Gold. And it all started with, it's interesting because we watched a lot of Terraria videos by Stampy Cat, his Let's Play episodes before we started playing it because P wanted to play it. We started on a 360. It was fine on the 360, but my primary console right now is the Xbox One. I mean, that's what we watch Netflix and Hulu Plus and like all of our programming on, and where I do the majority of my gaming, not all of, but the majority of my gaming. So it was kind of a pain in the butt to have to switch between consoles. And I said, well, if I'm going to end up playing as much of this as I think I'm going to end up playing, I might want to stream it at some point. So I went ahead and bought the Xbox One copy as well. And
that was a whole lot of mental gymnastics to excuse that dual purchase.
I was kind of thinking that too.
And so, like I said, I've been playing a lot of Terraria, mostly just doing the work my daughter doesn't want to do.
You're a good mama.
Yeah, okay.
Don't give her a big head just because tomorrow's her birthday.
No, I am fully aware of the fact that my kid is pimping me out in games on a regular.
Sucker.
I know. And so I've been playing that. I also been playing some Don't Starve Together. And no, Alex Lane, I have not played with you because you are never around to play when I want to play.
That is not true.
Blah, blah, blah.
I am on every night this week. I've been on playing. I might have been not on Steam playing or on Origin or something, but I've been on every night.
Well, you need to tell us you're playing.
I will do that.
And on my 3DS, I've still been playing those crazy new little mini games that came out with the last update. So I've been fishing and fighting zombies on my 3DS, and then also I started playing the demo for the new Mario puzzle game, which is like Candy Crush / Bejeweled / any match 3 game, Mario themed. And I guess they actually think they're gonna sell that to people. But anyway, I mean, it's cute for what it is, but really, I'm not gonna pay for it, especially since everybody is releasing free to play. It's like once Nintendo decided to do free to play games for the 3DS, they just came out with 10 versions of Candy Crush. Has anybody else been playing that and noticed that? But that's exactly what it is.
Mm-hmm.
And I picked up a Humble Bundle this week because one of the games that I've really been wanting to play on Android and never got around to who is murdering their keyboard.
Yeah, Alicia, your noises are kind of noisy.
Sorry. I'll stop.
I've been playing it's pen and paper. the pen and paper game. It's like a excuse me. It's like well, it is a digital version of a tabletop role playing game, and actually, like the little avatars in the game are actually role playing, like they're playing like Dungeons and Dragons.
Shut up.
It's really cute. It's kind of cheesy, but it's really cute and it's really fun. I mean, and this
That's
is the time to
cool.
grab it.
It is
Yeah,
cool.
this is the time to grab it because I got it through a Humble Bundle and you get other stuff too. So that's about all I've been playing. I haven't been playing a lot.
What's that one called?
Pen and paper. Exactly. It is pen and paper, but I think there's more to the title.
Okay. I'll find it.
Excuse me. That's about all I've been playing. Somebody else can go while I look this up. Who is next on the list? That would be
me. Guess what I've been playing?
Something with
State
zombies.
of Decay.
I was gonna say,
100 hours. So yeah, there's that. I've been a little bit more because I can't stop, never stop. I played some Destiny with Sam, who didn't put it on her list.
Oh, right. I did not put that on my list. We did play
No, you
Destiny.
did not.
No,
I've been
I
playing
didn't
some
see it
Never
for me.
Alone with my husband and my son, playing co-op different times, and we've been teaching the baby how to play Angry Birds.
Oh, that's awesome. She'll have such good hand-eye coordination.
Well, she already does, so, and she likes it. She thinks it's funny. She says pigs, pigs, pigs. She wants to play with pigs. So she enjoys it, but that's pretty much it for me. Lots of State of Decay.
Go figure. It's called Knights of Pen and Paper. And it's on Android, but it's also on Windows, Mac, and Linux.
With a K.
Yes. Of course. All right. Charlotte, what you been playing, darling?
Well, not much. I played Don't Starve Together with Alex for about, 10 minutes?
I kept playing all night. I made
I
a
did not.
fabulous home for us, and you left me.
And I need to come back to that home.
It's
but,
still there.
I haven't done that. And I don't know. I sort of just got into Legos, and that happens sometimes. So I'm trying to build a Lego haunted apartment.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I kind of like
sounds
that.
fun.
Yeah.
Sounds fun.
Yeah. That's what I'm trying to do. So I've been less with the games and more with the Lego this time.
Cool. All right. What you reading, folks? That's an easy
Nothing.
one to jump to. Well, Ashley, you seem to be reading stuff. What you reading, darling?
I am reading this graphic novel that I picked up at PAX East like forever ago in March, and I actually just finished it the other night, and it's called Bold Riley, and it's about this Indian woman who also happens to be a lesbian, and she's super awesome, and she's like a superhero. Very,
I'm
very
sold.
cool. Yeah, it's really cool. I'll link it somewhere where you guys can find it.
Put it in base camp, and I'll put it in the post.
I will. And I just finished Saga Volume 3, and I'm reading Cats of Ulthar as well. Kind of getting into Lovecraft recently. So that's what I've been reading. Anybody else?
I will, and then Sam can go last. I was rereading a little bit of The Hero with 1,000 Faces for conference stuff. Yay! And I've been rereading some The Walking Dead trade paperbacks. Related to that also, but just for fun too. Because, I don't know, I like the end of the series where it is right now. It's not the end, of course, but where they are right now. No spoilers, but it's pretty fascinating stuff, how it's developed over the years. Sam?
Yes, I'm here. I'm back.
What you reading?
Not a whole lot. I am finishing up Rat Queens Volume 1, which is like the first 5 or 6 trades. And the second volume came out today, as a matter of fact. So I'm pretty sure I'll be picking that up this weekend because I'm loving it. It's funny and hilarious. It's hilarious and kind of, I don't know. I don't want to say edgy, but when it comes to it, and it was funny when I bought the first volume. Of course, I'm in a comic book store. I'm 40-something years old, and I'm buying comics. And I go to check out, and the guy at the counter's like, well, it can be kind of offensive. And I'm like, well, damn, nobody told me it was going to be offensive. They said, hey, this is an awesome kind of feminist comic. Pick this shit up, right? And then, so it's like funny because as I was reading the comic, and I was like, there's nothing offensive in this. I was like, I'm more offensive than this comic. What the hell? So, oh my goodness. So, hold on, please. So I said, oh my gosh. So that, and then I finished Glitch by Krista Charter and started Summer Wind. So I'll tell you more about Rat Queens once I get to the second volume. What are you guys drinking?
I'm double fisting it tonight with
Me too!
Yay! Ace Joker hard cider. It's the highest alcohol content of any hard cider I've found.
I'm going to go get some tomorrow.
At 7. It's not, so here's the deal. I found 2 new ciders for those of you who like ciders but think they're too sweet. Woodchuck has 2 new versions that are fabulous. One is a hopped cider, so it has a little like hoppy beer flavor to it. It sounds weird, but it is so good. It's so good. And then they have a bourbon barrel aged cider. So it's got like a bourbon undertone to it. It is so good. It's so good. So look for those. They're both Woodchuck. But this one is fabulous. Ace Joker. And then some scotch. Wow. And I had some Sour Patch Kids to go with the scotch, but I ate them.
You're so
if I get
weird.
up to go let the dogs out, I'm probably getting more.
I wish I had some gummy bears right now.
Nothing
Now
sets
I want
off
some too,
scotch
damn.
like a good Sour Patch Kid. Or gummy
That's
bear.
disgusting.
I changed headsets, so hopefully you won't get any background noise anymore.
Okay.
Is it
That's
my,
it. I'm only
my
drinking 2 things. I know, shock.
is it my turn?
Yep.
It can be. I was going to go next because I'm also double fisting.
Okay, well, why don't you tell us what you're double fisting in, darling?
I am double fisting first because we're talking about choice feminism this evening, and all our careers have been threatened. And so I need to drink copious
It's only
amounts.
because we're less powerful.
Right. I'm drinking Honker's Ale again because I love Goose Island. And I'm going to finish off this bottle of Bullet bourbon that I've had through 3 podcasts. Now this is podcast number 3.
That's weak. But
I only drink it during the podcast.
that's
So you
cool.
drank a third of a bottle every podcast.
You don't need to say it in that tone.
I feel like you're judging me.
Judging me,
and
judging
my
me.
choices.
Judging
Okay.
you because yes, I did that on purpose.
My choices.
That's perfectly legit. Coming from me, and I would know if something was too much.
Well, I am
Alright.
drinking. Are you done, Alicia?
Mm-hmm.
Or are you drinking something with a third hand that you haven't told us
Go
about?
on ahead. Bitch.
I am drinking a Krabby's Fruits cloudy alcoholic lemonade. It's actually kind of cloudy.
It looks kind of good.
It looks kind of sweet, like really sweet. Like
Mm.
I get a
Like
little,
kind of sweet or really sweet, because those 2 things are not the same.
I feel like it's just all saccharine.
No, I'm pretty sure it's sugar.
No, I don't mean like in the sense of sugar versus saccharin. I mean like it looks like a big bag of sweet.
It's
But
lemonade.
it's in a bottle. Just
I know you say it's lemonade, but lemonade is not always that sweet.
It's
You know,
supposed to be sweet.
Okay.
I think lemonade's supposed to be sweet.
I think I'm probably getting the answer to my question is that I probably won't like
I
it.
got a lemon tree for Mother's Day,
That is awesome.
so I'll be
Those smell
making
so good.
lemonade. I know.
Are you
It
gonna
does
make?
smell
Are
really
you gonna
good.
make cloudy alcoholic lemonade?
I probably will put some alcohol in my lemonade, and it might be cloudy by the time I'm done. So
No, actually, it is sweet. It tastes like a carbonated lemonade with a little malty aftertaste.
I'll try it. I'm just afraid it'll be too sweet for me. But,
Well, here's what you do: you buy a 4-pack.
or do they have it at the Fresh Time when I can get one?
Yeah, they do. I was just gonna say buy a 4-pack. If you don't like it, just bring the other 3 to me.
Or just mix it with whiskey. That's what I do when my ciders are too sweet.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'm drinking Summer Shandy, which is the non-sweet version of lemonade.
every time I see it, I think of you.
Summer shandy's kind of sweet.
It's kind of sweet, but it's not like cloying, I guess,
Yeah.
which is what I fear that lemonade is.
It's probably too sweet for you. I mean, I've never had a summer shandy, and actually drinking this, I was like, I wonder if I would like a summer shandy. So I might try one at some point.
I bet you would like it, even though it is a fruit beer.
Well, so is this technically, and I really like this. I don't even know what made me. Well, I know what made me try it because they put it by the front, like at the candy counter.
Yeah.
Because it's candy for adults. So they put it at the candy counter, and I kept walking past it, and finally I couldn't walk past it anymore. So.
Well, I think that Summer Shandy tastes like lemonade, except not cloyingly sweet lemonade. So you might like it.
I like my lemonade sweet though.
Yeah, it's not sweet though. I mean, you'll have to try one. I guess.
I'll have to.
Yeah.
All right. Did we cover all the what you drinking?
Yes.
I mean, I'm drinking water, but
Yeah, we knew that.
That's lame. It makes me, all this talk of lemonade makes me think of lavender lemonade. Have any of you had that?
No.
Mm-mm.
That sounds
Yummy. I like it.
That sounds
Anyway.
a little fancy for us.
Do they have like lavender alcoholic lemonade?
I don't know, probably.
So I don't
Make
understand
it.
the booze in it, right?
I was gonna say you can make it. Oh,
Less-
can you imagine? Can you imagine lemonade with a lavender infused vodka?
Wow.
Yes, I'm imagining it right now.
Gross.
I'm imagining it in my mouth.
There you go.
In my mouth.
All right.
It's the musical episode.
Nope.
Since I've been drinking.
Nope.
So
How
we're
about
doing.
news?
Oh, go ahead. News. That's me. News. The news. This week in the news, we've had some. If we want to talk about it, if anybody cares, some Gamergate developments. They said a bunch of people were unethical because they were a member of a mailing list, and Anthony Birch is an unethical journalist, despite not being a journalist. But then they added some shit to legitimize those things somehow. But Milo is still not considered an unethical journalist, so fuck, everything's stupid. Somebody leaked Brianna Wu's cell phone. Gamergate descended upon Kiva Bay's Kickstarter.
Her cell phone number or what?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gamergate descended on Kiva Bay's feminist deck and tried to fuck everything up, but it didn't work. And that's the Gamergate news. Anybody want to say anything about it? No.
It will ruin our career, so I'm going to stay quiet.
And this didn't make it into our doc, but today Reddit announced that they were going to adopt an anti-harassment policy, which is very interesting.
I read that. It's
Wow.
good.
It's some questions because, a lot of different sites like Reddit like to talk big as though they're going to do something and then not actually do it. But apparently, our friend Adam Strantz on Twitter, a lot of people are flipping out saying, "Oh, Reddit is censoring us. We have to leave." So they're leaving Reddit.
Mm-hmm.
So it might actually work
I
through
think
self-censorship.
I think it's really interesting because they presented it like in storytelling form. So like
Yeah.
they didn't just say, "Here's our policy, here's what we're going to do," which they do that, but they tell like these clips like they tell this long clip of a story from somebody who they're like, "This is the type of thing we want to protect," and people like this aren't able to share on our site. So like it's about the freedom of speech, but how free is speech on our site if people can't talk because of harassment?
Right.
So it's not like they're
Yeah.
curtailing freedom of speech. They're just putting up a minimal level of protection so that even more voices can be heard.
Right.
And
Well, that's the thing, though. I mean, assholes like to hide behind the censorship defense when nothing's actually being censored, and you're exactly right, and so are they. In that, when there's rampant harassment, when everyone is free to harass in that sense, a lot of people do get silenced.
Mhm.
And, for all that so many of these communities are like, oh, we believe in freedom of speech, they ban people from those communities. They downvote people into silence.
Yep.
I mean, there's no such
They
thing as
threaten
a
their
pure...
careers.
Right, that too. There's no pure environment on Reddit. So it's just smoke and mirrors anyway.
There's no pure environment anywhere. I mean,
Of course not.
There's always threats and silencing all the time, and so all they're saying is, look, we recognize that these are our core values, and we will protect them.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty legit.
Yeah.
But we'll see if anything actually comes of it, besides people leaving because, the idea of somebody stopping trolling is so offensively abhorrent that they can't possibly deal with it, which is an issue that needs to be discussed in and of itself, but I just don't have the fucking energy today to be real. And the last thing, I think the most interesting item of news that I have is, so after all of that bullshit with Ubisoft, like, oh, it's so hard to program a female protagonist, then we can't reuse any of our stuff that we reuse all the time. Well, they didn't say that part, I added it. A little editorializing there. They did announce that in Assassin's Creed Syndicate there's going to be a female protagonist, except not really, because she's like a quarter of the game when the other guy is like 75%.
Yeah.
Are they twins? Or they're brother and sister? Isn't that how it is?
Yeah. Yeah, so thanks for the tiny bone we've been flung, Ubisoft. Good job.
My coworker came up to me and told me about that, and she's just starting to get into games now. She's my age. She's 25 or 26, and she was saying that the two, like, there's going to be siblings and all that, and I was like, I turned to her and I put my arms down on my desk and I was like, it is fucking 2015. Can we just have a female protagonist? Why do we have to,
we can't.
What's going on? Or why not have two girl siblings? Or I don't know, just I don't understand.
If there's two girls, there has to be lipstick, high heels, and sex involved.
Yeah, they have to have some sort of twincest or some shit.
Yeah.
Which they may do anyway. We'll see.
I don't know. It just feels weird. It's like throwing the blanket over. I don't know. We're easing people slowly into the idea of main female character, but
I was talking. I'm sorry to interrupt. Not really.
No, it's all right. No, go ahead.
I was talking to Sam about this today because when I was prepping that conference proposal, I was saying, when you go back and look at The Walking Dead, I think it was obvious that Clementine was always going to be the protagonist.
Yeah.
They were grooming her for that, but they didn't start there.
Right.
Even though they have the most sexless, inoffensive character ever in Clementine, because, in the second game, she's 11, right?
Yeah.
And still they have to start with Lee. Not that Lee's not an awesome character. Lee's a great character.
Yeah.
But Lee exists to groom Clementine to be a protagonist. That's his role.
Do you think it's going to be kind of similar in this game, maybe?
I don't know. No, I think Ubisoft is like, shit, we took a lot of flack for saying we won't have women because it's hard and people are mad. So we'll throw one in for a few scenes and you can play as her for a little bit. But this idea of women being relegated to a couple of chapters in the game, or just multiplayer options, or just whatever on the fringes, fuck it. I'm so tired of it. You're right. It is 2015.
Yeah.
We live in the fucking future. We have computers in our pockets. What the shit is this?
I got interviewed today for a podcast series that my department's doing too, and I got asked that question about female protagonists and the reasons why developers say they don't make them. And of course, it's hard. It takes this many hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars to be able to program a good character. We can't program 2. We can't program 3. And I was saying, you guys all saw that meme of the white male protagonist, right? With the picture after picture after picture after picture of all these boring games with the same looking character. Anyway, and I was talking about that, and I really think that we're at a tipping point in the gaming industry, if we haven't tipped, where we don't accept that as an excuse anymore. There's constant criticism, outcry. 50% of the players are women. We spend more money than men do. And even men are like, I'm really sick of your boring 30-something, slightly, disheveled white male character. I want a good game. I want a diverse game. I want an innovative game. And that doesn't happen by making the same design choices over and over and over. I'm sorry it's fucking hard, but you're going to go out of business if you don't step up and address the wants and needs of your audience.
I have 2 questions to raise on that. I think that was all on fleek, as we were talking about earlier. 2 questions on that. The first one is, how much money gets spent animating fucking stubble on these same scruffy-ass white dudes?
Oh, shit.
Jeez. How much money, how much time, how many hours goes into painting these dudes' faces so that they can all look the same? It's ridiculous.
Why is it any different than making like a female model?
Well, that's what they say. Because obviously you're going to have a
excuse.
complex male character. And we can't put more money and more time into making female characters or minority characters, right? Because we obviously have to have this perfect white male protagonist. That's where the mindset is. They're like, well, we can't make women because we have to make this guy, and that's all our dollars. Well, don't make the guy then. Do whatever. Like, there's other options out there other than, well, we can only make one, and obviously it has to be a white male.
It's like Highlander. There can be only one.
They just can't think past this idea, this story of the dude, the hero, who has to go in and do the hero thing. And
so it's all the programmers are the white males. Like, we need more diversity behind the fucking scenes.
Yeah.
And then that would make more sense. Well, of course you have a female character, because look, there's half the people in this room are women. Of course we have a minority character. Half the people in this room are, some sort of minorities. Like, that's how it happens. It's a symptom,
I'm so tired of the word, and this is not a knock on you. I'm tired of all the different phrases to talk about quote-unquote minorities, people of color, because, it's in so many cases, they're not.
They're not minorities at all, yeah.
No, it's just another symptom of us saying white people are the default. And look, yes, most of us on this podcast are white. But that's because traditionally white people have more access to these kinds of things that got us to where we are right now. Mm-hmm. It doesn't have to be that way. We need to stop assuming that that's the only way shit can be, or it's not going to change.
This is a diverse podcast in terms of
other things.
And in terms of other things, yeah. And it's what's really interesting is that this is a podcast of mostly white folks. Mostly. Not all of us are white.
Nope. How you doing, Sam?
How you doing? I ain't outing nobody, but I ain't the only non-white person in here. But and she ain't even looking up. She's like, what?
I know.
I'm listening.
But
I'm already getting my career destroyed, okay?
Hey, maybe they won't destroy it if they find out you ain't white.
I know, I'd do like a double whammy for them.
So you have a group of mostly white folks brought together by, if Alex is claiming it, non-white folks.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's funny. No. Look at that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think that's reflective of academia, and I think it's reflective of the people who have the voice right now. Like, Sam, you've always said, too, like, people who have the voice, and as a tenured faculty, you did this all the time for people like me who are graduate students. Like, when you have the voice, you have to use it and open up that space. Mm-hmm. We resisted having male cast members for a long time, not because we don't think they have amazing things to say, but because a space needed to be opened for women to be able to talk. Yeah. And I know we get criticized for that. They're like, oh, a bunch of women, how diverse is that? You don't even have any men. And it's not about this raw diversity where we want one of every kind of person.
Right.
It's about
Diversity.
looking at this environment in this context and saying we need to do something to start making a systematic progression towards equality. Not equality right here in this tiny podcast, but opening a space for people who aren't represented in the community as a whole.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And I think that's you're absolutely right. And I've been like that as a tenured faculty member. And the funny part is that I was kind of like that before I was a tenured faculty member, which was why, as a graduate student, the tenured faculty at my graduate institution were laying bets on the fact that I would never get tenure. Because I simply refused to not speak up and speak out. And a lot of it has to do with identity politics, right? I am Black, I am queer, I am all of these wonderful things. So for me not to speak out is really problematic, because it's not that I speak out to be political, it is that I am political simply because I am.
Yeah.
Right? And
That's the social justice warrior thing that doesn't make any sense. It's not people on a crusade to be on a crusade.
Right.
We're defending our place in the world, in the community we care about.
Two things. First, I have a question for Sam.
What?
Do you feel like that's sometimes unfairly thrust on people? Like sometimes people just want to be...
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I mean, it is, right? And it's something that you have to decide for yourself, right? In my mind, I have no choice but to speak out, right? I don't. Yeah. There's nothing that I can say. There is nothing in me that would allow me not to. Other people cannot, and I fully respect that. And it is not, and I will always speak out even for that person who can't speak out, who doesn't feel that they can speak out for themselves, even if they are in the same situation. I will still speak out for them. It's not like, well, you didn't speak up for yourself, so fuck you. No, I'm not going to do that.
Sam walks the fucking walk on this. I have seen it many times. Yeah. She is not talking shit.
I just think it's important. Right? I think it's important, if we are going to value one another as human beings, we have to stand up for one another as human beings.
I agree.
I also, I just want to add something. I mean, we create such a welcoming space and, a space to give voices. And it's we've had, men on the podcast before. It's not like, we don't, disallow that or something. And just thinking about what you were saying about supporting one another, I was talking to you guys earlier on the on Facebook about what Brianna Wu said during the last podcast, and how she was saying something about women in the gaming industry, or just in the gaming field somewhere, need to be relentlessly supportive of one another. And that really just stuck with me, and it just it set fire within me, and I'm like, yes, that is absolutely true. And I don't know, it is so true, and it was such an honest, upfront thing to say.
Mm-hmm.
Can I say something kind of related to that, but a little bit off topic?
Sure.
Yeah.
So I interviewed before I think I went to my PhD, I interviewed this woman who is, she trains CEOs for Fortune 500 companies. So when Fortune 500 companies want a new CEO, they vet them for a year. And this woman vets them, trains them, spends a year with them, whatever. She makes tons of money. And she, was trying to pick a new CEO for Best Buy or something like that. So she's this high up, trained CEOs. So she was talking, I interviewed her, she's part of the Women's Executive Coalition in Minnesota, and I said, well, something we run into in the gaming industry a lot are people saying that there's no qualified women, so they can't hire them. And she said, yeah, I run into that a lot, picking CEOs who are women, who have less experience, who have less this, who have less this, who have less this. And I was like, well, how do you get over that? And she goes, who the fuck do you think defines what qualified is?
Yeah.
The bunch of people who look the same, who have the same background, and they decide you need X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
No one said you need those things to be a CEO except a group of people who all look the same. So fuck their qualifications. I will reach down to somebody who is, quote, unqualified and pull them up, a woman. I will pull her up and put her in a position because she will do a better job, even though every other person might think she's not qualified. I was like, that reminded me of what Brianna Wu said, too.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's a really good point.
Anyway. You had two things, Alicia.
What?
Didn't you have two things or something?
Well, yeah, and the second one is, I think this makes a really good segue to tonight's issue. And that just sort of naturally happened. I didn't plan it.
So we'll do the indie game. We'll do after that.
Yeah.
Oh.
I'll do my indie game after. Or do I do it now?
Yes. Do it after.
I'll do it after. This is the
night. Let me just introduce tonight's issue really briefly. We wanted to talk, and this was requested. If we not listened to our fans, we were asked to talk about choice feminism. And we probably would have anyway, because there was a little bit of a controversy in the past few weeks. Controversies. Some of the things that have happened, like Laverne Cox posing nude, so-called feminists and non-feminists speaking out that, and then there was a discussion of choice feminism after the Sarkeesians about it, and that's when it came in our sphere. And gaming. And of course, feminism has been a hot topic in gaming in recent months because of this idea of the social justice warrior, crusading with pitchforks, ruining everything for everybody because we all hate fun and games and we don't play them. You know, the drill. But we thought tonight we would get together and talk about the idea of choice feminism, about maybe a little bit with intersectional feminism, the way we see feminism, and I want to introduce this with two disclaimers. The first disclaimer is this. In this group, we span almost a 20-year age difference. Mm-hmm. We have a lot of different experiences. We don't always share the same ideas. I know that's shocking. Social justice warriors who don't always think exactly the same way.
But I'm always right.
But Sam is always right, except when she's wrong.
All right.
And the other thing I want to say is there are things that we don't get right. Okay? We're not experts in everything. We're experts in some things. But if anybody's listening, this is one of the reasons why we do this kind of thing live. So if we say something that is maybe a little questionable, talk to us. If you're listening to this later after the fact and you hear something or you read something in one of our posts that you think, I think that they can do better, let us know. We're always going to listen. I know I've been trying, and we talked about this too a little bit with Brianna Wu, I've been trying to take out certain words from my vocabulary, like crazy. And we both said something earlier was crazy, Sam and I, like almost at the same time, and I thought, damn, when you're speaking live, you don't have the erase button, you don't have, delete. And I've been deleting things a lot as I type them lately, but sometimes the shit still comes out of my speech. So if we say something particularly that isn't applicable to maybe trans women, understand. I know intentions are worth nothing, but we are trying to come from a good place. We don't have every experience. We don't speak. We're going to try to discuss the concept of choice feminism, feminism in general, and intersectional feminism as best we can with the tools that we have, the study that we've done, and our own personal experiences. Anybody want to add to that?
I think you covered it.
Yeah.
I think it's definitely well said.
Well, I'll try. Is that Star or is that one of Alex's dogs?
I
Not mine.
It's one of mine. I'm probably getting swatted.
Oh shit! We won't be laughing when they come in, will we?
No.
Oh, God, I'm getting...
I know. Oops. Oh my God.
All
Sorry.
right.
That was such a beautiful sentiment. I'll deal with this. Hold on.
All right, so let's jump in and let's start talking about this. Well, and I'll start because I think that I'm going to start with what I think about choice feminism. For those who
Oh,
don't
hang on. I'm
know,
supposed to rein you in if you. I'm
yeah, you have to
dying
rein me
right
in if
now
I
of
get crazy.
coughing. So let's breathe. Okay, go.
So with choice feminism, for those who don't know, it is this idea that we're at a new point in kind of a feminist curve, shall we say, because or feminist wave, right? Because we've had first wave, second wave, third wave, and now we've gotten to the point that people are like, okay, now this new thing is choice feminism, where it's all about choice, where you choose to do this, and because you choose to do this, there's a feminism for you, and there are rights that you have to have or want and are fighting for.
And we can't judge.
Yes, and we can't judge because of that, because people's
not.
choices are their own, right? And let me start by saying, one, we don't judge. We shouldn't judge anyway. Second, what I want to say is I think choice feminism in that narrow definition is pure and utter bullshit. Because, let me explain
Don't pull
why.
any punches, Sam.
I'm not pulling much behind it. Let me explain why. Because it implies that all of the things and that women are and all of the things that women do
I just lost the audio.
are choice based. Did you?
I did. It was funny because you went, let me explain why, and there was this long silence.
Oh, I didn't.
I think it's your connection because you were breaking up on us.
It's funny. I'm sorry. I'm and I'm old. Go ahead.
So I think the thing that we have to get at is a lot of this is not about choice, right? When we talk about queer feminism, that's not a choice because being queer is not a choice. When we talk about feminism that has to deal with poverty or race or gender identification, that's not choice feminism because, once again, it's not a choice, right? And to say that these things are choices or to frame them as choices robs the personal of the political, right? Because it says you make that choice to do these things. You make that choice. We're not going to judge you, but it's your choice. And it's not a choice. I didn't choose to be queer. I didn't choose to be black. I didn't choose to be any of the things that I am. But the way that I interact with the world and the way the world interacts with me is based upon those things. So choice doesn't have shit to do with it.
That's true.
So that's what I'm going to start with when I talk about choice.
Can I come in on the end of that with something?
Yes.
You know, a lot of people have discussed with me the fact that it seems strange that I like makeup and dresses and all these things are pretty traditionally girly, quote unquote, when I myself am, well, I'm me, and am not in any way anything that would ever be considered traditionally girly. I'm rude and I swear a lot, yes, and I drink and I don't really give any fucks about it. But even though I like those things, I question myself a lot why I enjoy makeup and dresses. And, you know, honestly, a lot of it has to do with the fact that navigating the world as a fat woman, as a woman in academia who has children, as a woman who is not traditionally attractive or whatever, is difficult, okay? It's fucking hard, just like it's fucking hard for every other woman. It's hard to be a woman in this world. And I think that even though I like dresses and everything, and I choose, quote unquote, to wear them most of the time, to wear full makeup, to wear lots of jewelry, it's not necessarily a choice I would have made in any other body, in any other situation, but it makes my life easier.
Which is interesting because you and I are in the same boat in many ways. I'm a fat woman in academia with children, and I don't choose to do any of those things. But like you said, those are choices that people make, but they're not real choices.
No, they're not. And we can't look at the choices without looking at everything around choices.
Exactly. Right.
Well, and I think that's where choice feminism really starts to go off the rails for me, because you guys are talking about personal choices you make as a woman, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're not necessarily feminist. They're not necessarily anti-feminist. But what the common thread is between both of you is that you work towards systemic, institutional equality.
Yes.
Well, whether it's right or wrong that I also like to wear makeup and dresses, whether it's bad or good or this or that, we still work at the contextual level to try and make things better for all women, right?
And you're spot on, I think, Alex Lane. And I want to throw this in because in my mind, choices cease to be choices when they are decisions made in response to systemic inequality.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So it's not a choice if you do this for the sake of self-preservation. It is not a choice. Yeah. It's not a choice for a woman to be a sex worker if that is the only thing she can do in order to feed her children and survive.
And
right? So it's like do this or your children starve. That's not a choice.
This reminds me of something you said. You and I had this argument. We probably talked about on the podcast before. We argue about stuff constantly. Sam and I, we did when I was in grad school, and we totally get along now. No, we argued about making part of the logo for Not Your Mama's Gamer pink. Like that's something I like pink. I identify with it. For me to be able to associate with something that's feminine is actually powerful. I grew up tomboy my whole life. And to be able to put on a skirt was empowering. Like, fuck you, I will dress how I want. I'm not embarrassed. I'm not embarrassed to look like a woman. Fuck you, you know? So anyway, we argued about that. When P wanted a kitchen set, Sam didn't want to give her one. Because, systemically, women are told you should be in the kitchen, you should be cooking, you should be this. Never mind that she wanted it because Sam was always cooking in the kitchen, and she wanted to be like her mom, you know?
Yeah.
That's complex, and that's why you can't take one situation, one personal situation, and apply it at this broad level. Like, these things have to come collectively. They can't come, well, Sam bought her kid a kitchen, so therefore all women can be in the kitchen from now on, and it's okay. You know, it doesn't fucking work like that. But choice feminism pretends it does. Oh, I just hit my desk. I'm sorry. Alicia, I cut you off.
It's such a great, that's a great example about P. But I just want to say something before we get a flood of angry hate mail. That
what?
Sam, I assume, did not mean to say that all sex workers do it out of necessity.
No, I did not. I did.
Right,
fact,
that's not. I
didn't mean to. I had no intention.
No, I know, but I just want to take the time to say I knew what you meant. I'm sure everybody here knew what you meant, but if somebody just kind of bopped in at that moment.
We were on kind of a slippery slope, though, because we were talking about choices that aren't really choices because of, let's say, the patriarchy or the system in place. Like, are our choices really our choices? I think. No, I think they are sometimes.
For some
sometimes
people,
they aren't.
being a sex worker is an empowering thing, and I fully appreciate that.
Yeah.
And I don't judge for that. I mean, that is totally and completely different from what I was talking about, which is I was talking about doing it out of necessity. No, if I imply that in any way, shape, or form, thank you for pointing that out.
You didn't. I don't think that you did. I just wanted to bring us back to that, so we didn't just leave it there.
That's not an aside. That's a crucial point. If you choose to dress the way you do, maybe because you want to, maybe because you feel pressure, who knows? Maybe your kid likes princesses because they just like princesses. Maybe they do it because all the girls at their school like them. You know, like you need to to have the choices to make all these different negotiations.
And the two things that are important about that is, one, the issue I think we're going to discuss a lot is that systemically many of these choices are not always choices for all women. Okay? Sure. That's the problem. And the other thing is if we spend all this time arguing about everybody's choices and the choices that they make and if it's empowering or if it's from internalized misogyny or this or that or what's feminist and what isn't feminist and let's judge you even though we're saying that we're not judging, we're not talking about dismantling that system.
Right.
It's a fucking distraction, and I won't know.
Yes.
I know the Linda Hirschman started it. I don't think she meant it that way, but goddamn, the people who snagged onto it, I'm pretty sure just wanted to stop us from talking about anything that's fucking important.
This is actually one of my actual talking points for tonight, which is the idea that the essentialism argument can kill any progress that feminists try to make.
Yeah.
So if you fight for women's rights, this is an argument that was made to me numerous times during my graduate school career existence, whatever, is that if you fight for women's rights, you're going back to essentialism, that there's man and there's woman, and that's how the world works, and therefore you're oppressing trans people or people who have some sort of other identification. And that was used to shut down so many fruitful arguments about equality and about progress and about women's rights and feminism. And that, like you said, is not acceptable. I don't, we can make our arguments reasonable. I would like to think that the decisions I make as a feminist, which might be wrong sometimes, are good for everybody. We fight for diversity. We fight for inclusion, you know, things like that that aren't specific to women. Now, in a certain situation, there might be a call for or an appropriateness that more women need to be represented. That doesn't mean more other people don't need to be represented too, right?
Right.
Just because you can't fight every battle at once doesn't mean the battle you are fighting is worthless.
Wow, you're all blowing my mind right now. Because now I'm thinking about choices, and like I'm still developing my feminist identity and how I want to think about things and how I want to present myself. And you know, it really was only, I don't know, maybe 2 or 3 years ago where I decided that, you know, I was a feminist and I had feminist ideas and opinions and all that. And I'm just thinking about how I like to dress personally. And I have some days where I'm like a hoodie and friggin' yoga pants, and that is where I am at all day. My hair is thrown up. I don't really care. No makeup. Don't give a shit. Don't care if I go out like that. And then I have other days where I... This is going to sound hilarious, but you guys won't judge. I love the way, like, my legs look in fishnets. And, like, I like dresses. And, like, I like expressing that about myself and about my body and about, you know, like I enjoy that about myself, and I do it for myself. But now you have me thinking about my work, and I'm thinking about, like, you know, what if I dressed totally like, if I dressed like that, like in fishnets and stuff at work, how would they view me? And then, sorry, I'm trying to word it.
No, it's good.
When I am in a work space, which is an institution of some kind, and it's systematic, my choices on how I present myself, with whether it's clothing or, I don't know, does behavior count in this kind of thing as well?
Sure.
Is it because I'm trying to fit in there and be appropriate because of how the system is there? It's very weird. It's very, like, you know. Oh, you guys got me thinking about that. Now I'm not, now I don't know. I don't know how I fit and how I feel about this.
If I can say one little thing, I think that everybody does that to some extent, right?
Yeah.
Within a system, within an institution, you have certain expectations of behavior, presentation, whatever. But the very fact that we have to have this conversation and keep having it and have it constantly as women illustrates a very dynamic difference between the way women and men are treated. Because I will tell you this. My husband, for instance, I will promise you, has since the beginning of this year combed his hair exactly twice. And it was they were both days when he had to wear a suit for something at school. So part of that was well, I guess I should probably comb my hair. And in fact, I think both of those days I actually combed it for him. He rolls out of bed. He does not care. He throws on whatever comes to hand. He doesn't think about it. He doesn't think about whether or not he's going to be judged because he chose to wear fishnets that day, or a pocket tee, or if his pants are tied across his butt. He does not give a single hairy fuck.
I think there are men who do, though. Like, I think about, like, Mike, you know, he is conscious of when he's going to work or when he's playing disc golf. Like, there's different roles that men, women, anybody have that they dress differently for. I think one of the differences is that there's an enormous societal pressure that comes with non-males when they dress that goes outside of the realm of professionalism or appropriateness for the environment. Like, I remember a few years ago, there was a woman who wrote about wearing a polka-dotted dress and fishnets to this conference, and it wasn't the men who were acting inappropriate towards her, it was these feminists that were like, you just undid years of our fucking work trying to get to not be seen as sexualized objects. And she's like, fuck you, I'll dress all I want, right?
Yeah.
That's the outcome of your work.
Actually, that was my talking point. Was you segue into it. It's beautiful. So you read these anti-feminist blogs like Who Needs Feminism or whatever, and you see a lot of the stuff that really bothers me. Like, we hate men, which of course is not true, or we want to be more equal than men, whatever that means. But then occasionally you see something like what Alex is talking about, where somebody is saying feminists attack them. And it's coming from somewhere. Something happened. And that's not good either.
No.
Yep.
No, it's not. But then these quote-unquote feminists who attack women for expressing themselves in the way that they want to and feel comfortable doing are not feminists.
Right.
That's the problem.
Yep.
Right.
Is that they are getting labeled feminists because,
or they claim to be.
Or I was going to say, or that's exactly what I was going to say. They're claiming to be feminist when they have no fucking clue of what the word actually means.
Sam, I've never heard you comment on women's clothes. Like, oh, what a trampo, or I don't know what people say, but I've never heard anything like,
I don't know, but I'm going to use trampo tomorrow.
I will now.
It's like a form of policing.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's really, I don't know, it's uncomfortable and not okay.
It's not.
No, it's not. Even for me, I'm not girly, as y'all may have noticed, but I have gray hair, and it doesn't bother me, except that it bothers everybody else, and they tell me all about it.
And people love to comment on gray hair.
Oh, I know. And so I
got gray hair.
I want gray hair so bad.
Gray hair on mine.
I don't like to dye it because it actually makes me a little panicky because of the chemicals.
Yeah.
Like seeping into your brain.
But no, just like I get this is silly, but I get sort of persuaded by the allergic reaction stories. Oh. And I start to think maybe this is not a good idea. But anyway,
but that's your choice.
The point is, I don't dye my hair because it doesn't bother me, but it bothers everybody else. So occasionally I do dye my hair. Occasionally I do fall into that. I just need to shut everybody up, so I'll dye my hair. And it is very disturbing to me when I do that.
I think one of the things that we're talking about and kind of skirting around too is this idea of things we do personally because we believe in them, because we care about them, even if we don't see them as feminists, and this idea that every action you have, every action women have, are somehow inherently feminist. And that's the core of choice feminism, right? Everything we choose to do is feminist because we're women. And that is, as Sam pointed out at the beginning, a really big problem, and it's not right. I'm in an argument on the blog right now. Actually, I'm not in it anymore. I'm done with it. Where someone was saying I couldn't criticize another woman for what she was doing, which I saw as vehemently anti-woman, because she was a woman, and that was anti-feminist of me. So I was not allowed to criticize her. That's fucking bullshit.
That is bullshit.
But you know what? That is the same rationale of saying you can't criticize games and still like games.
Hey, that was me. I said that.
Sure.
I
Sure,
missed that.
exactly.
Did you
And-
say
but
that?
and
Yeah, I
that's the
did say it
problem.
today. It's absolutely the truth. And here's the difference, okay? It's not like in that argument you said something like, this woman is an idiot and I hate her and
I'm
she
gonna
should
fucking
die.
burn her to the ground. Yeah.
Right, or I'm going to destroy her career.
Right.
But you said, look, here are some actions that are, frankly questionable, and we should talk about them and what they mean and what the implications are.
Here's a bunch
Just
of
like
facts.
we can
Here's
say,
stuff she said. Here's stuff she's posted.
Yeah.
Here's this. Here's that. Here's the way I'm drawing the dots, and I'm fucking worried about it. That's a problem.
just as when we say, you know what, it's really fun to play Destiny, except the game is super flawed and it kind of has some racist, I don't know if you want to call it racist, but yeah, I'm going to say racist, undertones, and is probably a little damaging, but it doesn't mean I'm going to stop playing it 100% because what else am I going to do with my time?
Alex, I feel like with your post, I feel like it wasn't an attack and it wasn't policing. It was something else. It was right. It was an analysis. It was opening up a dialogue. I think those are very different things, and I think people tend to confuse that.
Well, I think you ought to be able to draw conclusions about other things other people say, regardless of their gender identification.
Yeah.
You ought to be able to draw conclusions about them and have a dialogue about it. Like, I thought they were deeply disturbing, the conclusions I drew from the evidence that I looked at. Fine. But I wasn't insulting. I wasn't threatening. I didn't engage in any behavior that I was embarrassed about. And I think that warrants a certain level of... I was trying really hard to elevate the dialogue with this, right? It would be easy to attack. And so one of the criticisms was, women are always criticized for using their emotions manipulatively. That wasn't what the point... Well, okay, so yes, that was part of my questioning of the video. Is this being used to make money? I looked at evidence. It wasn't because she was a woman. If she was a guy up there crying about Gamergate, I would have said the exact same thing. And just because that's levied as a problematic insult doesn't mean that we can't ever have that discussion again, right?
Right. Yeah. I thought your post was very fair because I felt the same way when I watched the video. It was very confusing to me because it evoked empathy, but at the same time, I didn't understand the argument and.
That was exactly like when my words were getting picked apart, seemingly, and this and that. It was because I was coming to grips with watching this video. I'm like, holy shit, like this kind of humanizes Gamergate, and I don't know how I feel about that, and I don't understand this rhetoric. And let me do some research behind this. Okay, so this group's making money. Okay, they're associated with these other groups doing these horrible things. Okay, so I was kind of like working through that. And I feel we ought to be able to do that and not be anti-feminist, right?
Yes.
Right.
Absolutely.
But that's the choice feminism. She was right because she's a woman and she can say anything she wants and it's feminist. And I'm anti-feminist for critiquing her. That's the choice feminism.
Well, if that's the case, then that would make Alicia anti-feminist for for earlier saying, well, let me make sure that is well understood what Sam meant when she said, sex workers are sometimes don't have a choice. No, it's not. Right. It's the part of good community building, right? It is a part of open dialogue. It is a part of being humans and living together with other humans that have different experiences and come from different subject positions and ultimately are going to believe different things. Right, and that kind of leads us. I want to kind of bring this up for a second into this notion of intersectional feminism, right? Which is much more where we need to be, than with choice feminism, right? Because intersectional feminism, at its core, right, looks at all of the different subject positions and identity markers that a human being has, and in this case we're talking specifically about women, and then looks and kind of puts them together in this Venn diagram and looks for that area of overlap, right? The things that are at the intersection. right? And that is who that person is, because it's not, you can't be just black, or you can't be just queer, or you can't be just a mother, or just just these things. You are all of those things together, and your experiences in all of those different bubbles, for the lack of a better word, and all those different discourse communities and all those different identity communities are what make you who you are as a person. And that little bitty space is where you live, right? It is where you live, and it is where all of your thoughts and feelings and emotions and passions come from, right? Because it is all of the things that I have experienced in my coming tomorrow 46 fucking years.
Wow.
Fuck you. And
hey, now, I'm the second oldest person here. So.
I'm not the youngest anymore.
No, you're not. So, but no, seriously, in all seriousness, it is all of these things. It is all of these things that I have experienced, and all of these things that I am, even outside of those experiences, that make me that person, as we were talking about earlier, that make me that person that can't say, I'm not going to say anything about that. Because trust, if you want an argument, come looking for me, because you're going to get one.
Yeah.
I'm not going to not speak.
It's so easy to tear things down that other people are building, but it is really difficult to build them up. So when you're looking at somebody like Sam, who's trying to build a foundation through her graduate students, through her program, of this idea of intersectional feminism, where people don't just take X, Y, or Z part of them and advocate for it, but they take everything and try to make something better, it's really easy to come along and say, oh, that part's not perfect. Oh, you didn't include this type of person here. Oh, you said blah. What the fuck? You're not abiding by your principles. Like, that is so easy to do.
Yeah.
That is
and
bullshit.
it's just derailing. It doesn't help anyone. It doesn't help anything. Yeah, we want to listen, and we want to hear, and we want to know what we can do that's better, okay? Always. At least I assume that we do. I do. I always want to do better. But there's a difference between the same thing here, attacking people and saying you're not feminist because you forgot something or you don't understand somebody else's experiences, and saying, hey, let's talk about this.
Right.
But this has to do, too, with call-out culture, and that's a whole different animal.
I have two things. Number one, Sam was just so passionate just a moment ago that she was blurring all over the place on my screen because her arms were going everywhere. And she was like, she broke the screen pretty much. So, anyway, that was awesome, Sam. And second of all, now call me out on this if I'm going in a weird direction or if I'm not defining it correctly, but is there an idea that just because you're a woman, you're right kind of thing in feminism?
No,
For
just
some.
because I'm Sam, I'm right. But no.
That's a little bit of the choice feminism, though.
Yeah, I wanted to just I wanted to talk about it a little bit and try to figure out what that was, because I've seen that a little bit, like here, I've seen that a lot, but on Twitter and everything. But yeah, could someone fill me in?
Well, this sort of reminds me of when a family member told me that I should vote for any female or any woman candidate for president, regardless of what she says. And I won't call out the specific female in question.
Was she from Alaska?
She was from Alaska.
And
I did not.
On front porch.
I did not agree that I should vote for any woman candidate for president, and I still do not agree that. But that's what this choice thing reminds me of. Like, we're supposed to support everybody regardless. And
Ashley, to answer your question, there's not even agreement in feminism about what a woman is. I mean, you can't say all women are right all the time, because really, a woman as a category is kind of what Sam is saying, which is an intersection of a bunch of different things. Oh, right. Is it that you have a vagina? Not necessarily. Is it that you can bear children? Not necessarily. Is it
This is really interesting because this is kind of off topic, but to the left of the topic, so I hope it's okay. I was at the store the other day with my family, and I was buying some tampons, And my son was there, right? And he was asking me like what I was doing. And I didn't feel like having the conversation right then about, my vagina. But then I was thinking about it later, like he's
But
7.
hey, how's your vagina? I have to ask.
Bad. It's very popular. A lot of people have been in and out of it over the years. But I was thinking about he's 7, so he's not like old enough necessarily that I have to explain this stuff to him. But I've been very open in talking to him about sexuality and personhood, especially in terms of the laws, the recent legal fuckery here in Indiana.
Yes.
And I was thinking, like, it's not going to be that long before I really need to explain to him about women's bodies and how that works and what's going on. And how do I do that in a way? So I was like, well, women who can have children, well, not necessarily. Well, all women, well, not necessarily. Mm-hmm. Everything I came back to on trying to explain the fact that I'm bleeding out of my body monthly and it's totally okay, felt like it wasn't good. It wasn't a good intersectional discussion of that. And I still don't know. I haven't figured out yet how I'm going to navigate that. I'm going to have to look up some resources because I've just begun to talk to him about these things, about how the idea of what a woman is may not just be a girl and all women don't wear dresses and have long hair, and I don't want to derail his burgeoning knowledge.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's a nice way to think about how to enact feminism, intersectional feminism. Like, actually things you would teach somebody else, Mm-hmm. We always have to articulate it better for kids, especially, than we can articulate it for ourselves.
And you know what? Kids do a really good job.
They get it better than we do.
of doing it for themselves. I mean, in all seriousness, because they try to make things fit. They try to make sense of the world around them, right? Because, my daughter was, good God, 3? When she kind of blew my mind one day when we were talking, and she was talking about mamas at her school or at her daycare on campus, where we have a lot of like faculty kids and faculty wives and that do different things. And she said, "No, mama, not mamas like you, mamas with long hair."
Interesting.
And there she was talking more about gender identification than hairstyle, and the way she reads me, not only in terms of gender identification, but also in terms of the role that I play as woman and the role that I play as human, right? Because she associates a very specific kind of thing, and that is like kids start to do that for themselves. And that is an interesting thing because that gives you an opportunity to talk about the intersections of who we are. So, I mean, she knows that, her mama is a mama who loves other women. Her mama will never marry a man. She knows that. If mama ever got married, it would be to a woman. She knows that, mama has short hair. Mama doesn't wear dresses. Mama doesn't wear makeup. Mama doesn't wear jewelry. Mama doesn't do these things because.
But it doesn't mean that mama's not a woman.
Does not mean that mama's not a woman. She understands that. And children are good at understanding that. Children are better at understanding that than a lot of these fucking idiots out here that are claiming to be educated.
Well, certainly because
I was disc golfing, and there was these 3 girls who looked like the most stereotypical fucking mean girls you've ever seen. And they were walking by, and I kind of picked up part of the conversation, and she was like, "Oh my God, have you heard about Tisha?" And the other girl goes, "Yeah, she's a he now." And they're like, "Yeah." And she's like, "Can you believe?" And I was like, "Oh my God, where the fuck is this going?" She goes, "Can you believe the teachers have such a problem with it?" And I was like, "Wait, what?" And the other girl goes, "Yeah, it's not that hard. She was a she, and now she's a he. What's the fucking problem? She gets to go in the boys' locker room, and she does the stuff with boys now. It's fine." And then they kind of were walking away, and they're like, I really don't understand how they have such a hard, how they can't understand it. And I was like,
amazing.
That was
That's
all,
amazing.
and this is in Lafayette, Indiana. And I was
It's like, did you want to run up and hug each and every one of them?
I seriously, I have goosebumps right now just like retelling that story because I was like, holy shit, there's some hope, right?
Yeah.
Can't believe the teachers don't get it. What's so hard? She's a she and now she's a he. I'll never forget that as long as I live. Anyway.
And you know, I don't know if you this is unrelated, but I'm thinking about it, so I'm going to say it because it's not like we have any real structure to our conversations or anything. One of the things I hear in terms of feminism, discussions of sexuality, everything, is that so many people, this is kind of in line with the all lives matter motherfuckers. Every time a celebrity or something comes out, I hear, I don't know why it matters. Why do we need to know? But I don't know if you guys saw this week, Kate Blanchett just kind of said offhandedly in a conversation, I've had sex with women.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, neat, whatever. And then the next day it's trending on Facebook. And I'm sitting here and I'm looking at Facebook and I'm like, you know what, this is why.
She didn't even really.
No, it's not
She was like, whatever.
It doesn't matter. But this is why. This is why we have to keep having these conversations. This is why it does matter for somebody to say, hey, I'm gay. Hey, I'm a feminist. Hey, I'm this. Hey, I'm that. To actually have to fucking identify yourself, whether you want to or not, because people do care about it.
Yeah.
They can't accept it. It blows their minds. They're like the teachers in your story.
Yeah.
They can't figure out how would a woman want to be a man because sometimes you're just born wrong.
What bathroom do you go to?
Right, and that's exactly. I mean, in talking about children, I mean, because people are all up in arms always about understanding or having these things explained to their children. Well, you know what? Guess what? If you don't want your children exposed to other children who have two mamas or queer mamas or two dads or queer dads or any other assortment of gender or sexuality expression, you know what? Keep your kid at home in a fucking bubble. I mean, because it's a part of the world.
Right? It's the world.
I mean, it's just it makes no sense not to say that, right? And that is the way that we have to explain it to our kids, right? Because I started early with my kid with things like understanding, sexuality and gender expression, not only because of who I am and because of who my friends are, who she would be exposed to, but just because it's a way of the fucking world, right? So we had this great book that we had read a million times about my princess. It's called My Princess Boy, right?
Yeah.
Who is about a little boy who likes to wear princess dresses and sparkly jewelry and fancy shoes and his parents and friends and family who love him, right? Not in spite of it, not because of it, but just because, right? And that was, so it was. We ran into a couple at a big box store who had a little boy who went like crazy gaga fangirly over Peace Tinkerbell attire that day, and then he turned around and he was like, look, he was about a year younger than her, and she must have been 4, and he was wearing a Tinkerbell backpack, and he had Tinkerbell on his sneakers. And P was like, look, Mom, he's wearing Tinkerbell. And the mothers kind of pulled him close, like they were waiting. And she went, that's the coolest thing ever. He's kind of like my princess boy. And just the relief on their faces made me want to weep openly in that store. That their little boy was 3 years old, and they had already had responses that made them want, see, now I'm about to cry, to pull him close and protect him. Society is fucked up if that is the case.
It is fucked up.
And that's why we've got to start early.
And this is why I don't give a shit what your choices are. As long as you're not actively harming other people, I don't care what you wear. I don't care what you do. I don't care if you stay home with your fucking kids or you work or whatever. I don't care. Here's what I care about. I care that there is a little boy somewhere who is fucking suffering because he wants his goddamn nails painted.
Yeah.
I care that there are women who cannot have the fucking jobs that they want because there are too many men who feel like they're not experienced because really they don't want them around.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I care about. So fuck your choice, feminism.
Fuck your choice, feminism. Can we name the podcast that?
Yes. Goddamn, now I'm mad. Mad as hell.
Rage on fleek.
Always. 100% of always. I am going to go change my Twitter name tonight. It's your fault. Wow, okay.
On that note.
On that note. That's good.
Y'all done made me need another drink. Whew. How about an indie game of the week, Alex Lane?
Oh, dear.
Bring us back from this shit, man.
This is why we have to do what we do, though.
I know.
This is why, even though I get in funks when I'm doing this kind of work too much because it's really fucking depressing, you got to keep going. Anyway, so again, out of the funk. So, my indie game of the week is Home is Where You Start by David Wheel. It was a Steam Greenlight game. It's also Oculus compatible, so it's really made for virtual reality. But I played it without one. But I'm gonna get one. I'm gonna get an Oculus. I'm gonna make work buy it for me until I get fired. So this is a short first-person exploration game called a walking simulator, which should have been the first indication to me that this was not the game for me. Because I don't have patience and I don't enjoy ambiance and so it's like so basically what it is like Myst. Like it's a short VR version of Myst. Like
I
so
love
which one of you guys played Myst when you were younger?
Me.
Okay, so I don't know if you were better at everything than me, but I basically walked around Myst for hours and hours and never did anything.
I was stupid
I
as
didn't
shit.
fucking get it.
Yeah, I did the same. I just walked around. I totally feel you.
And I could see, I could find stuff that's a clue. Like, okay, I see that's a clue, but I don't fucking get it. Yep. So, anyway, I've always kind of hated games like that because they really annoy me. And this game was absolutely no exception. I streamed it. I had a few people who were really interested in seeing the game that were watching. They didn't give me much feedback other than, hey, I'm going to lurk because I'm interested in this game. But it was really boring. So I played it for 40 minutes, which was a long time to walk around in fields. And the thing is, okay, so I get that I'm a little hostile towards, exploratory story games, fine. But this wasn't, look at little Bubby. So I get that, that's a genre, and I can tell when something does that good. Dominique Pamplemousse, right? That is a story. But that was fun to play. It was, interesting, and it was kind of, weird. This, I played for 40 minutes, and I got 4 different story pieces. I got 4 different dialogue parts. And it was, what I got was so good. I don't want to hate on the game. So it tells the story of this, I think it's this girl who's, they say they set it up like she's coming back to explore her childhood home where she experienced all these really bad abuses at the hands of an alcoholic father. And so she's in this trailer. You wake up on the road. You're in this trailer. But you're only the height of the countertops. But she's talking like she's reflecting on coming back here. So I think it's kind of confused about if she's a kid or not. Oh, Ashley, hi, I get it. So it's kind of confused. But anyway, so you walk into this room and obviously, this was, I don't want to say the person who made it experienced abuse, but I feel there's so much reality in the story, in the imagery, it's very haunting. And I have this little quote here, which I thought was just the most perfect review of this game, which was, I was disappointed in the game. I wanted more, but that's just me. It actually left me a little sad. That's the game. You're sad in it. You want more from the game, but it's just sad and kind of depressing. So anyway, it's less than $3. If you enjoy that type of kind of walking around and exploring, I now know, after reading a bunch of comments, how to actually progress through the game, which I won't tell you. There's only the one scene which I described where you're walking around the house and walking around the yard, and you go to a couple different places, and then you find something else, and then the game's over. So it's very short. But yeah, I mean, less than $3. Support an indie developer, support a Greenlight game, and like, I wish this person had more money to make this game better, because I think the haunting factor is there, but the rest of it just is short. So that's my indie game of the week. I'll repeat it. Home is where you start. What's that?
I just liked your description of it. You find something else.
Yeah.
Some shit happens.
And that's not my experience of the game. Is you walk around, but how to finish the game is you find something, then you find something else, and then the game's over. So if you like Journey, although Journey actually had stuff, so I can't.
Journey's beautiful.
They compared it to Dear Esther.
Oh my God, that game made me want to hurt myself.
And one other one, I don't remember what it was, but I don't know. It looked like, story-wise, I thought it was going to be really interesting, but the story, they just was nothing there. What was there was really good. They just wanted more. I just needed more. So.
Did you say it was available or going to be available on the Oculus? I heard you say Oculus. Oh, it is. Okay. I really want to. I've never tried an Oculus ever in my life, but I want to. But I also get motion sick. So
then it's really gonna make you ill, especially since they forgot to test it on women. Oh God. Yeah. Well, they say that the second version is supposed to be better. The Dev Kit 2 is supposed to be better.
Yeah.
And I haven't tried Dev Kit 2, but Dev Kit 1 made me so violently ill so quickly.
Oh no.
Can we buy one for the department?
That's every technology. Seatbelts made based on male engineer's body that killed a bunch of fucking women.
Oh my God.
Breast cancer drugs.
Voice recording equipment, cameras not made for people with dark skin. That's a fucking iWatch that doesn't work penetrating dark skin. Like,
but haven't forbid we talk about that, because then we're all
sorry.
racist.
Yeah.
Somehow.
Yeah, we're horrible people.
I was bringing us out of the dark place into my game of abuse. Alcoholism. Jesus. Okay, sorry. Moving on.
Lovely. All right. We're
Sounds
coming
good,
to
though.
a happy place. Take me to my happy place. All right. We have any deals for broke-ass gamers this week?
Well,
Oh.
Steam appears as having a Capcom Publisher Weekend. Actually,
Also known as a going out of business sale. Bazing!
look, I apologize, but Dead Rising is my all-time favorite fucking game.
Hey, Dead Rising's really high on the list for me, too, so you ain't gotta apologize.
Dead Rising is obviously not on here, but Dead Rising 2 is.
Oh, well.
Well, because Dead Rising's not on Steam, though, so... But anyway, you can get the Capcom collection for $39, which includes a whole bunch of stuff, including Dead Rising 2.
Ooh.
Or you can get, it goes on from there. Dead Rising 2 and 3 for $29. And then the individual games look like they are, there's so much on here. It looks like they are 50 to 80% off. So Dead Rising 2 by itself is $11.21. Dead Rising 3 is $24.99. Remember Me is $5.99. I don't know. It was just interesting to me because I love Dead Rising.
Really? Remember Me's $5.99.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, man.
That's all I really see, though. It seems like, I don't know.
Well, I think people are just kind of laying in wait, waiting for the Steam sale, because that's coming soon.
Yeah.
Summer
The
sale.
summer
Sale. Yeah.
Yeah.
The summer sale.
Where you will spend all your money. Where I will actually buy a bunch of games and never remember buying them. So,
Right.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
have so many games just hanging out in my Steam library that I was like, I've never played this, and this is just here and collecting dust. But damn
It's fun. It is fun when you want to play a game and you go to buy it and you learn that you already did.
Yeah.
You already own this game. Do you want to give this to a friend? Oh, well, that's exciting.
Yeah, no.
I be playing Don't Starve, and I'm about to be driven insane because I can't find any flowers.
Are you playing Don't Starve right now?
I am.
On
Alex,
that note, you
I
guys
gotta
can
go.
behave yourselves.
Okay, sorry.
On that note, thank you very much for joining us for the 101st episode of Not Your Mama's Gamer podcast,
And Sam's birthday.
and for my birthday.
It's birthday.
I'm constantly getting older, but you know what? That doesn't bother me because you know what that means? I'm not dead.
Fuck yes. You're here.
And I still got work to do. So, thanks for joining us for the episode, and we look forward to seeing you, hearing from you for our 102nd episode.
God.
107th too, but first the 102nd episode.
Oh, we're gonna have a guest.
Where we're gonna have a guest. Yes.
Please.
Well, we will have a guest, and we will have lots of fun conversations, and perhaps an announcement or two. That's all we're going to say about that. So you have to join us for our 102 to actually find out what that is. So until then, since it's hot outside now, for the most part.
Whatever,
Stay
it's
cool.
winter.
Yeah. Stay cool. Stay calm. I want to speak. And as always, my lovely friends, game on.
Game on.
Game on.